Good. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. It's websites, and more websites. So everybody needs to get compliant. So let's get going on this. Today we are featuring Vinteum software, and we have the great ladies on here. Always my IT support. I appreciate, and we'll introduce them here in a minute. I do want to mention some housekeeping that we always have to talk about. Please be sure and put your questions into the Q&A. We do not record the chat. We only record the Q&A. So if questions aren't answered, the presenter today, Laura, will be able to get back to you. So the ultimate goal here is if you don't have a website, you need to make an appointment with Laura following this webinar and break it down. She's happy to give you a free demo, and she's going to tell you all about it. But let's get going. I want to introduce myself again, Peggy West. I'm the organizer of these Condo Zone webinars, and I'm going to introduce our sponsors for today who support the webinars. I'm going to start with the ones that are in attendance today with Daniel Baum. Daniel is the founder and CEO of COA Solutions, an insurance brokerage. Daniel, tell us about yourself and what are you doing for communities?
Thanks, Peggy. Hi, everyone. Great to see everyone again today. I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic presentation from Vinteum. My name is Daniel Baum. I specialize in commercial property and casualty insurance, specifically for condominiums and HOAs. That's all I do. And I guess what you should know at the moment is you should be seeing significant reduction in your property policy this year. Thankfully, the last few years, it's been getting better and better for us in the condo space. You guys should see pretty dramatic reductions of your largest, most expensive policy. I just delivered two proposals this morning. One was a 22% saving over last year. One was a 26% saving over last year. Those are the types of numbers I'm seeing pretty much across the board. Does that mean everyone is getting that reduction? No, it depends on many different factors, especially where you're located, how tall your building is, other factors that go into it. But you should be seeing a significant reduction. And if you're not, you should be asking yourself, why not? Maybe you need somebody else taking a look at your policies to ensure that all markets are being shopped and you're not just getting sort of the boilerplate renewal. On the flip side, the umbrella market is extremely challenging right now. There's a lot of umbrella carriers not writing. It's not surprising to be finding that the premiums have gone up significantly, or you're not even getting a quote. So something that's a little bit different this year. And then the last thing I just want to mention is crime insurance or your fidelity bond. For many years, everyone took the least expensive policy, $25,000 in coverage on their crime policy. Keep in mind that the law requires, the statute requires that you insure for crime up to the maximum amount you'll have in that bank account at any given point. So if you're going to do a special assessment and you're going to have $500,000 in a bank account or more, you have to insure your crime policy up to that limit. The good news is crime is not expensive, so it really doesn't help you to be cheap on the crime just to have the lower coverage. You might as well be in compliance. Again, lots of factors we can talk about, things that are going on in the market. They're always moving in insurance. Happy to have these conversations with you individually. You can get a free policy review if you'd like on my website. Reach out to me. I'm sure you all know how to do it by now. I'm certainly in your face more often than not. But thank you again, allowing me to be a sponsor. Peggy, other sponsors, Vinteum, have a wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And we have probably a lot of new board members on today. So feel free to shop, especially for insurance. And these sponsors are excellent sources that I try to have available, and all of their contact information will be on the sponsor sheet. With that said, I'm going to also next introduce Jamie Gelfand. She's Vice President for First Citizens Bank. Jamie, tell us about yourself and what kind of loans are you putting out there these days?
Good morning, Peggy. Thank you. Nice to see everybody. I'm Jamie Gelfand. I'm the Regional Sales Officer at First Citizens Bank. I cover Southwest and Southeast Florida, so from Fort Myers over to Vero Beach and all the way south. In the CAB Community Association Bank Division, we provide lockbox and loans to associations. So any work that you're having done for your milestones, your 40, 50-year inspections, moving your operating account is not a requirement of the bank loan. So it is definitely a benefit to the association. If you have any questions, I'll have my information in the chat, and I hope you enjoyed today's presentation.
Awesome, Jamie. Awesome. So she's out there available. Just reach her on the contact information. And thank you again for sponsoring. Next, I want to introduce Cameron Andres. He is with Best Roofing, and they are always going somewhere in this area. What's going on with Best Roofing these days?
How's it going? Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're staying very busy, as we were talking about earlier. It's starting to get rainy. We are getting into rainy season, which is a great time to have a roofer on speed dial. My name's Cameron Andres. Like Peggy said, I do business development for Best Roofing. We're a commercial roofing contractor based here in Fort Lauderdale, operating up north to Stewart, all the way south to the Keys. We do any kind of roofing you might need. So we'll do a re-roof, recovery, repair for even a small single-family home job, and we do preventative maintenance plans as well. We are getting into hurricane season, so an audit might be a good thing, which we do complimentary. We'll get somebody out there to do a comprehensive roof audit, see if there's any repairs that need to be made immediately, give you a cost estimate for what a complete re-roof would cost. We will also give you the life expectancy of the current roofing system. So if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to let me know, and we'll be happy to get that rolling for you. Thank you.
Okay, and I believe too, Cameron, don't you guys offer monthly or annual checkups on the buildings or the roofs as part of the service agreement after you get a roof?
Correct. We call that our preventative maintenance plan, and that usually is encompassed with the re-roof project.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to run through the rest of the names of the other sponsors that will be on the sponsor sheet. If you need to take some bids, now you have to take 3 bids for some things, services, and products you need over $25,000. So just to run down real quickly here, we have Hafer. Hafer is a full-service CPA firm and audit company. They are available across the whole state now. They have 4 offices. Nicole Johnson is your contact there. We have the president of City Quiet Windows and Doors, Ben Friedman. He is also very well known around the state of Florida, doing lots of large projects. So he's not afraid of the big projects or the little projects. So reach out to Ben if you need windows and doors. We've been lucky so far with hurricanes not being too much apart or large storms in the Florida area, but Velocity Services Group is a large loss restoration company available if you have something, not just a leak in the wall or anything like that, but if the hurricanes come or large wind damage is out there, you want to contact Velocity because they have been around for, I think, about 50 years now. Next, we have the Pool Scientist. Pool Scientist is doing introductions and evaluations on your bacteria in your pools, not just servicing your pools, but helping keeping your equipment up and lasting longer. So the contact there would be, Ricardo. I'm sorry. Then we have Faster.io. This is a full service streaming service. You can take this with you wherever you go, back to Canada, back to California, wherever you're from. If you're down here on vacation, on property, you want to reach out there to Paulo Weston. He's the owner. We also have PD Concrete Specialists. They are known for their concrete specialists and painting. PD has been in business for over 20 years, and Daniel Pena is the owner. And he also has his son, Dylan Pena, out there doing estimates for you. Next, we have Clarkson and Barrett. They are elevator consultants. You want to reach out to Damaris Cabrera. She can give you some information before you actually purchase an elevator or repair an elevator or reinstall or repair, renovate. So they will also be on there. Then we have actually Southwest Elevators is one of our sponsors. They work together actually very closely. They are great at service. So you would reach out to Brooke Cavender. Her sister is also involved, Brandy Cavender. They will also be on the sponsor sheet. We also have the paving lady. Dawn Miller is the contact there for any of your paving needs, large or small. And last but not least, we have Munyon Contractors. They're full service painters as well. And they have a unique service for electrostatic painting your railings, which is very economical. Saves a lot of money if you go that direction. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Giulia Franca. She is the marketing analyst and today's moderator from Vinteum. Thank you again. And Giulia, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Peggy. Hi, everybody. Like Peggy said, I'm Julia. I'm today's moderator. And before I introduce our
You're
presenter,
muted.
oh, hello? Can you guys hear me?
You're good now.
Okay, great. So like Peggy said, I'm today's moderator, and just also a little bit of housekeeping. Like Peggy said, please drop all your questions in the Q&A box. I will be monitoring all throughout the presentation. And Laura wants it to be really interactive and dynamic with you guys, so feel free to ask as we go, and I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt her and read you guys' questions so we can get everything out in the clear. Okay, so with that, I'm going to introduce Laura. She's our account executive here at Vinteum, and she has a very great presentation for you guys. I know we're going to learn a lot with her. So Laura, please go ahead.
Hi guys. My name is Laura. As Julia said, I'm the account executive here at Vinteum. So some of you might heard about us. If not, we here at Vinteum, what we do is that we provide with software and solutions to communities. We also work with property managers, property management companies. We provide them with, tools to help them do this residential management job a lot easier. And today I am going to conduct this webinar for you guys. We're going to be talking about organizing your community from documents to meetings. But I'm going to share my screen. I would love if you guys can let me know if we're able to see it. All good? Okay, perfect. As Julia said, and a little reminder, you can feel free to send your questions through the Q&A box, and we'll be taking a few, minutes in the middle of the presentation to make this more dynamic and answer you guys as we go. So let's start off. Today, this is going to be the agenda. So we're going to start off with the laws on document storage, what documents should be stored, the benefits of digital document storage, the 3 best practices for organizing your documents, and I'll also walk you guys through, let's say, a live demonstration on how this is going to work on your resident portal and so on. So let's start off. So I'm pretty sure that for pretty much all of you, regardless if you are a board member or a property manager, you have been probably or gone through this type of inconveniences sometimes. For example, missing documents when board members change or when the management overall changes, stacks of paper and overflowing filing cabinets, complaints from residents or board members, maybe, when they're asking you guys for some documents or records or meetings, recordings, and you're struggling a little bit to find them, that would definitely make less efficient your job. So I'm pretty sure this is something that's familiar for a lot of you guys, right? So before I continue also, guys, I want to do this important disclaimer. The summary description of legislation provided is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice. For the most current legal updates and specific guidance, please consult a qualified legal professional. So again, this is an informational webinar, but if you guys want very or more specific information, that about what your community has to follow in regards to the law of your state, I would definitely, suggest you to get in touch with an attorney who specializes on this. Okay? Okay, so let's continue. Many states across the U.S. have laws around document sharing and storage within HOAs and condo boards. Probably most of you are from Florida. We've talked and we've had webinars before where we talk about the requirements for condominiums, HOAs here in the state of Florida in regards to website, in regards to document storage, in regards record keeping in general. But there are also other requirements or specific things that each state has to follow within the U.S. So, for example, in Texas, Senate Bill 1588 requires HOAs with at least 60 lots or any association with a management company to publish their governing documents online. In Florida, condos with 25 units or more must have a public-facing website with a private resident portal to post digital copies of official records. California requires associations to deliver documents according to each member's preference, including email. And then, for example, Hawaii now allows condo buyers to receive documents electronically. So again, please make sure that you get in touch with an attorney to just make sure about the specific laws on your state. Maybe some of you are not from Florida, so that might change depending on where you guys are at. Okay. There are going to be some communities for sure that might have less than 25 units, or again, are located in other states where the requirements are not as specific as, for example, in Florida with the condominiums over 25 units. But even if these laws don't apply to you, many communities are updating their bylaws to mandate transparency, and this will also provide a lot of benefits and efficiency to your community and to your job, or even if you're volunteering, will make this easier for a lot of you guys. So beyond compliance, keeping records accessible can ensure continuity when board leadership or management changes. Again, build mutual trust between the residents and management, and of course, save time and make your job more efficient. These are some of the suggestions that we want to share with you about what documents should be stored, and that have worked a lot with some communities that are already doing this, are going from storing all these documents on a physical way to digital. They're looking forward to the future. They're thinking about the future boards that are going to, come in and work with your community or the property management companies. So I would highly suggest to at least try to store all of these documents on a digital platform so that, you go one step ahead always. So these examples could be community rules and regulations. So everybody who is within the community has access to it at any point. Meeting notices, minutes, and recordings. Financial statements and budgets. Community governing documents. Contracts and vendor agreements. Community election documents. And why not insurance and policies and records. So again, these are better to just keep them there on an online portal so everybody has access to it, and then your community, the communication within your community becomes more transparent and accessible. One more time, consult an attorney on how long you need to keep these certain records according to your state's laws. So there are some specific requirements, at least, for example, in the state of Florida, of how long should you keep your records on this online portal. For example, for board meetings or recordings, there's a specific time that you should keep them on there, but then that might be different than for other type of documents like your annual budget or the financials of the last year. So you have to make sure you take a deeper look into that so you maintain the documents for the required time that you should have them. The benefits of digital document storage, again, easier organization. Is going to be a lot more easy for all of you guys to find everything you're looking for instead of, going on a pile of paper in your office. will definitely increase efficiency. So everybody's job at the end of the day is going to be a lot easier, faster. For those of you who are volunteering, will actually feel as volunteering and not as another job. And definitely improve security. And this is a big part right here. So there are obviously documents that you can keep, on as a physical copy, but there are others that you want to keep digital and that you want to make sure that not everybody has access to it, or maybe just specific administrators within your community. There are some digital platforms that allow you guys, or that will allow you guys to have a specific permission-based profiles. So that way you maintain everything on the same place, but then not visible for everybody. These are the 3 best practices for organizing your documents. So first, define how to classify and organize your documents. So you can separate your documents by type, meaning PDFs, Word, Excel, sheets, maybe if it's more something about like financials and so on. Sort the documents chronologically, use a file naming convention, and define again who has access and who can edit a document. This is very important, and I would get deeper into it in just a few minutes. 2, schedule an annual file maintenance date. Try asking the board, does the current file system need adjustments? Can we dispose of unnecessary documents? Should we only keep an online record? Again, there might be some files that you will still feel it's important to keep a physical copy just in case. And then also, this annual maintenance date works a lot for you guys to just make sure, okay, how long has this file been here? Can we delete it? Can we not? Should we update this? Did we update the regulations recently? It's important to have this type of maintenance days or meetings to just keep on updating your documents. And then let's store your documents online for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys real quick how, at least in the Neigbrs platform, this is made. So remember that we've had some webinars before, and I just want to make a little parenthesis here. Some of you have maybe assisted to those previous webinars where we talked about the website, how important it is to have a public-facing website, especially for those 25 plus units condominiums here in Florida. But then again, we're talking about security. I believe that it's way more secure to keep those documents, that information, your financials, everything within a resident portal only, instead of a public-facing website out there where anybody can have access to. So I'm going to show you right now how these documents would be stored in our online platform. I don't know if you guys would like to go into some questions, or should I just go ahead into the live demonstration, Giulia?
Okay, so the questions that I'm seeing here, we have a couple in the chat and one in a Q&A, but they are regarding the specific documents that should be stored in their portal or website, and they are a lot of legal questions. So we can't really answer those. Like Laura said, it's important to consult an attorney to know exactly what election documents must be posted, and what can you keep and what you're not to
Gotcha.
keep. So I think we can just go ahead.
Continue. Perfect. Okay. So, for example, I'm going to go ahead and log into the residence portal. This is like our portal here that we've created for this type of webinars. And this is very important. As you see, guys, once I go into my residence portal, I can see different type of profiles. So we have these 2 examples, master administrators and resident. This is going to be very important. You'll see how in just a few seconds, but this works a lot to keep everything more organized and to give permissions to the people who are actually, managing the community and are able to edit, delete, or add new documents to the portal. So I'm going to log in as a master administrator into our community, and then I'm just going to jump ahead to go to documents. So first things first, as you see, we have all of these examples of the folders that you will be able to have in this Neigbrs platform. And I want you guys to take a look into this part right here, which is very important, and it says visible to. So as you see, again, all these folders and all these documents are saved within the same area, but not everybody will have access to it. So this works a lot for you guys to keep organization and to keep everything in one place, but not having it accessible to everybody, just to the people that you want to share this with or that you're required to share this with. So as you see here, most of these folders are visible to public, but then one of them, governing documents, this is an example, remember, it's only visible for managers and administrators. So you would say, okay, Laura, so how do we do this? How do we set up this visibility? How do we set up these permissions? It's super simple. So I'm going to start off by showing you guys how to upload a folder, or how to create a folder, sorry. You just go to this plus symbol right here. You see this folder icon. You click on it. We're just going to put the name. This part right here, it's really nice for maybe those of you who work as property managers or are managing different communities at the same time. Maybe you have some folders or some information or some files that you want to share with the multiple communities at the same time, instead of creating one by one in all the communities that you're working with. So if you manage all your communities with Neighbors, you can actually create a folder or upload files and share them with multiple communities, not just the one you're working with. Okay, so I just wanted to do that parenthesis, but as we're just working on this single community, I'm just going to skip this part. And then as easy as you see here, it says folder visible to. If it's information that you're required to share to the whole community, you just put it as public. But then if you just want to have it for a specific contact group, you can just choose between those contact groups that you have saved within your platform. I'm going to put here, for example, only administrators. We'll create it. Oh, let me just put 2. And it's good to go. As you guys see here, it's only visible for administrators. And then if you want to do some, if you want to add some files to it, you just go to this folder and you will do the exact same process. Just instead of clicking this folder icon, you will just click into this add file. Once you hit choose, it will take you to the files that you have in your computer. So if you have files in your drive or in another type of platform, you just download them to your computer and it will be as easy or as simple as this. I'm going to add this one as an example. Document type, this is going to be a PDF. So this works a lot whenever you guys want to search for any specific type or document. You can see the type of document it is. I'll show you in a few seconds. And you can also choose again who you want this file to be visible to. So let's say, again, only administrators. And a really nice thing here is that, for example, if it's a file that maybe was something that was discussed in the board meeting to be uploaded on a specific date, and you want people to know, hey, I have uploaded this document already, you can actually send notifications. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. The whole community is going to receive it, and then this file is going to be added into that folder. As
Laura,
you see right here. Yes.
can I interrupt you a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody asked, can we incorporate this with our current management system, or do we need to purchase yours? They have Ventica currently.
Well, this is the portal that we have at Neighbrs. This is Vinteum software, let's say. We do have some communities that, let's say, I'm going to put an example. They have a property management company, and this property management company works with Ventica, example. But then the community per se prefers or wants to have a different type of system for them to have their resident portal, and they acquire Neighbrs and they use both. So that could be an option, or if you just fully want to be, to have Neighbrs as your system, you can also do it and then try to contact the property manager that you work with and let them know, hey, we want to incorporate Neighbors into our community. You can manage our community through Neighbors instead of this other system. And we do provide training for property management companies and for property managers so they know specifically how to navigate our system, which honestly, it's super simple. It's incredibly intuitive and easy to use. But that will be those will be the options that I can provide to you. And we already have communities that have done it that way and has worked out amazing. So hope I answer your question.
Okay, so thank you, Laura. Somebody else asked, should the files be organized by address?
What do you mean by address? Like email address?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing they can organize it as they see fit for the community, right? You can go ahead. I'm not sure.
Let me double check real quick the Q&A box.
They said number address now in the chat.
Number address, like you want, I'm honestly I'm not fully understanding what you mean with each unit has a different address. Oh, okay. So if you want to have like a specific documents for specific parts of the community, I'm guessing it's a big community, you have different addresses. That's what I'm guessing. So what you can do is that you can create, let's say, contact groups for that specific address, right? So once you upload the files, you can do, as I said, like, let me just go ahead and edit one file so you know what I'm talking about. For example, this assets report, this is just an example. I can put edit, and when I choose the visibility, I can choose that specific contact group for that specific address of those units. That would be an option that you can do. So, just only this specific. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
So we
Yeah.
have another one. If the folder is only administrators, any files within cannot be visible to the public, correct? Access first checks folder security, correct?
Exactly. So let me give you guys a brief example. As you guys see here, I'm gonna just zoom in a little bit. I'm logged in as a master administrator, right? So if I were to log in as a resident, and let's just keep in mind, governing documents, master administrators. Oh, sorry. Test folder 1 and 2, only administrators. So let's say I'm logged in as a resident. I go to documents, and as you see, I have no access to neither test 1, test 2, or governing documents. Again, these are just examples. I'm not saying that residents should not have access to governing documents, but it's so you guys see how it works. Okay? I hope this answers your question.
Just one more, and also, let me just preface this again. Guys, please put your questions in the Q&A. I'm taking a look at the chat here, but it's getting overflowing, so please put it in the Q&A from now on. But somebody did ask in the chat, our resident portal is through the management company. I believe we covered this in our first webinar about how it's important to have your own personal website separated from your management company. And why is that, Laura? You can answer that.
So this you can have both, obviously. Like out there are communities probably like yours that you have the website or either the portal through your property management company. But we've have touched base on this before. Yes, we highly suggest, not that you have to, but we just suggest in here that you have your own website, that you have your own portal. Because if anything happens, if you want to switch from property management companies at some point, if you want to consider the idea of being self-managed at some point, right, you are always going to own your portal, your website. You're the ones who are going to be in charge of checking the documents, checking the website, uploading things. For example, here for Neighbors, doing both, it's super simple. You don't have to be let's say a graphic designer or a pro on this or work in tech to understand how to navigate on our systems, but those are possibilities. You can either have the portal and the website on your own, let's say you go and acquire the software on your own as a community, or you acquire through a property management company. Those are valid, but we highly suggest you guys to have your own so you keep control over it in case anything happens, in case you decide to change management, and also because at the end of the day, if you are required to have a website, let's say as a condominium with, this is an example, that has 25 units or more, it's best that you have your own website, because it's not valid to have that your website is your property management website, because that doesn't mean your community has a website. It just means that your property management has a website, but not you. So you also have to consider that. And then again, we were talking about security. I would highly, again, suggest you guys to keep all these documents. Some of these documents that you would have contain your residence info, financial information, and it's best for you to keep it on a place where only people within the community has access to, and not everybody. Yes, Peggy? I see you're raising your hand.
Sorry, I was sitting the microphone too long. No, I can't stress this enough, that when you have a turnover from one management company to another, or if you're self-managed and you want to go to a management company, your documents are going to have to be turned over for at least 3 years of financials, because it's that critical to understand your community. So I can't stress that enough, Laura. That's a great point, and I just wanted to reiterate that, because turnover is critical to a smooth transition. And sometimes when turnover is not smooth, unfairly, the new company is getting a bad rap because they can't set up properly, when really it's the other company not releasing the files for a number of reasons. Not that they don't want to be illegal, but maybe they have a very small staff. Maybe the management company you went with was a very small staff, and they don't have access to a lot of time to pull all these old records together, because believe it or not, they didn't put them into a file such as this, what we're discussing today. So, I had a boss one time said, never leave your destiny in somebody else's hands. And this is a great example of it. So I think it's awesome that you have your own website. And you can also put the link on Vinteum's website, and it'll go to the property management website. And there you can make your payments and do all the things that you would do. But it's very personal to have your own website, because this way you can post a lot of other things, community events. You can post safety issues. You can post hurricane notices and warnings and things specific to your community. So just things like that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peggy. That's absolutely true. Giulia, I don't know if we have any more questions on the Q&A box.
Yeah, we have a few, but I think we covered a couple for now. You can go ahead and then we'll get back to them later.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. Where did I left off? Okay, right. So we've already talked about the permissions on the folders. So now I want to give you guys another example, and I'm going to link to a question one of you guys asked. So for example, let's see this financial documents folder here. As you see, this one's visible for public, right? But once I click in it, there are files that are very specific for, to be only visible for managers or administrators. You can do that too. So the fact that everybody has access to a folder doesn't mean everybody will have access to any specific file. So that again allow you guys to have everything, like all financial documents within just one folder. But then maybe there's a few that you just want to keep for the accountant, for the treasurer, for the property manager, or for the board. You can do that too, and kind of specify the visibility of that file within a public folder. This and I want to go back to the security part. Again, remember, this is a password protected portal, so only people who have a username and a password will have access to it. You can decide what type of profiles, what kind of contact groups would you create in order to keep this organized, but also transparent, and also, engaging as possible. And then I also want to let you guys know that We have never had any inconveniences when it comes to security on this portal. We work with the same SSLs. For those who might not know what that is, that's service security providers. We use the same ones as some U.S. banks and even Amazon use. So we will assure you guys you will never have any type of external person coming into your portal or checking on this information or anything like that, or losing documents. These documents will be stored on our cloud. So even if your computer does not have enough space, these are actually stored in the cloud. You can have unlimited document storage. And we not only have this website version or desktop version, but we also have an app. So you can also check on your documents. You can also edit your documents as a manager through your phone, and it's very accessible. Oh, yes, Julia?
Yeah, so I think we can knock back a couple questions right now since
Sure.
you're covering it. So David asked, are residents notified when new documents are added?
Yes, absolutely. Let me just do it one more time, a little example here one more time so you can see specifically how it would work. So if I'm going to add a file, I can just choose, let's just choose a random file right here for this example. This is a PDF. And as you see here, let's say I'm going to put this file to be public, and it asks me the option to send a notification. So if this is public, means everybody within my community is gonna get a notification. If they have the application downloaded on their phone, they will get a push notification. And if they don't, they will just get an email saying, hey, your administrator or this person has uploaded a file that you have access to. Here's the link. So yeah, they will.
Perfect. Thank you, Laura. Somebody also asked, how much does this cost?
Well, that's it. That's gonna be specific to how big your community is, what type of other features you guys are looking for. So I think Julia or me, we can send you the information on our chat so we can get in touch with you. I can get in touch with you personally, and I can give you the code on how much this will be for you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. So let's just go one more and then we can get back. Is there a way that an individual unit owner can view their dues record?
Well, that will depend on the board itself. What do I mean with that? So, as a resident, you're not going to be able to upload, like obviously that depends on the profile, but as a resident, you won't be able to upload, let's say, files. But however, let's say that would be a really nice way to organize documents within the community. So if you and the community talk and you guys organize on, hey, can the board or the property management company or the property manager organize the invoices that we've paid on some specific folders and so on, and maybe have it just visible for the specific unit? That can be something that you guys can work out, and you can definitely do it. Yes, but as a resident, depending on how your community, the board, and the management works, you will most likely not be able to upload or delete or edit documents. So that would be something I think will have to be more. It will be better to be discussed with the management of your community itself.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Laura. You can go ahead.
Actually, talking about it, I also wanted to show you guys how it would look like if I were to be logged in as a resident. By saying that, I don't mean to discourage residents to participate actively on their communities. I'm just, I just want to show this as a way on how each role on the community will play its role within the system. So as a master administrator, of course, you would have more access. You can edit the documents, you can delete documents, you can delete folders as well. You can keep an update on the documents you have. But as a resident, what you will be able to do will be obviously have access to the documents that you are required to have access to, as you see. And for example, if I go to financial documents, I can download those documents that I have access to, like the annual budget, financial report, etc. But as you see, you won't be able to delete or edit or anything like that. So I just wanted to show you guys that too. And then We've also talked about meetings, recordings, meeting transcripts, which are also, let's say, a very important thing and subject, especially for the Florida communities. Here at the Neighbors platform, we have a really nice integration with Zoom that allows you guys to hold your board meetings or whichever type of meeting you want to conduct within your community through the portal itself. And the good thing about this integration is that if you guys do decide to conduct these online meetings through the platform, let's say we do it here through Zoom because it's the same exact software, and then as soon as I exit this or finish this board meeting that I'm conducting with the rest of my community, the system will automatically upload both the recording and the transcripts to the residence portal. So it doesn't matter if it's not on the documents part because it's already going to be stored in here on the meetings. And as long as you guys have a place where everybody can have access to those recordings and those transcripts, you will be good to go. So that will be something that is basically one task left that you would have to do because, again, it's done automatically by the system. So anybody will have access to the video or the recordings just by going to their portal. Oh, yes, Peggy?
Yes, I just wanted to comment that, of course, one of the priorities of a board should be to have your community be as harmonious as possible. So none of the email addresses or private information will be available on your website. So if you're hindering on getting a website because you're worried about your personal information being shared with the entire community, and you may not know all of your neighbors, you might be new, or might be a situation where a lot of the residents are coming and going, that information is private, at least in the state of Florida. The other thing is, it's not a practice to post late payments of anybody in the community. The board is usually the only one that has privy to anybody who is behind on their assessments. So that will not be posted specifically in the financials for the entire community to see. So that's something that is protected and is confidential to the board members only. And your board determines whether a resident would be moved forward for a foreclosure or a letter or referred to the attorney, etc. And then you would be given proper notice, or the board would give proper notice to a residence for anything that's related to late assessment payments. So yes, you want to have your financials on there, but there are going to be some restrictions like Laura was saying, and no changes will be able to be made, probably except for the president and or the treasurer, even on the board. So just to mention that.
Thank you, Peggy. I'm also going to take this moment to just review some of the Q&A. I see that Jenny asked, can it be added to an existing community website? So what you could do is that if you do have an existing website, let's say you guys created it on your own with, I'm just going to name examples, GoDaddy or Wix or anything, you can link some of those part. I mean, the websites do allow you to post classifieds or things like that. You can link the portal. You can like put the actual link of the portal in that website, and you can still have like Neighbors portal on your community. So as an example, I wanted to show you guys, this is just also one of the websites that we have as a model for this type of webinars. So remember, this is public. Anybody will have access to this, right? But if you want to have like let's say this is an external website, not a Vinteum website, what you could do is that maybe on some of these classifieds or posts that you have, you can say, you can put, hey, link to the residence portal. They will click there, and then maybe that will take them to the actual portal where they can log in with their username and password. So I just wanted to clear that out as well. I don't know if we have any more questions,
Yeah.
Giulia.
Somebody asked, is there a file size limit for upload for insurance policies and similar things?
Yes, there is a specific size top for that. I will have to get back on you on that one, but it's we haven't had like we've had documents up to like 400 pages that communities have been able to upload. I'll get back on you in just a few minutes to give you the exact amount of those of that limit for sure.
Also,
And
somebody asks, would this website be able to create email addresses for board members under the web name? I mean, I think they mean like our software. That would have.
yes, yes. So here at Vinteum, when we do create like the portal and the websites for the communities, we do have a special option where they can choose the domain they want for their websites, and then that will give them permission, or not permission, but that will give them like the option to get a specific, I believe it's 3 email addresses with that specific domain. So that may be for you guys, for the administrators, or the people who is in charge. If you want to keep your personal email away from the communications and the residence portal, yes, we can create those specific email addresses for you guys, linked to the website and to the domain. Yeah, that is an option.
Okay, great. That goes all the Q&A. You can go back.
Perfect. So yeah, so I think I just finished with the live demonstration. If you guys want to take a further look into the system, into more things, you can again reach me, or basically even general Vinteum, so we can give you further info and a specific looks into more features depending on what your community is looking for. But as of now, we're just gonna continue up with the rest of the presentation. And as you see on your screen, as document requirements get more complex with Neighbors by Vinteum, which is a platform that I just showed you, you can create transparent, compliant, and resident-friendly record-keeping system. As you saw, it's really simple to use. Anybody can upload, edit, customize, change, do anything they want with the documents. And that will be basically all for today. Now it's the time. If any of you have more questions or want to add anything, this is the time for you guys to go ahead and ask them.
Okay, so I see 2 more. Shanetta asked, do you offer a service that will convert physical files to electronic files for a cost?
As of now, we unfortunately don't. And I know that sometimes that sounds overwhelming. I've had, a lot of customers who are like, hey, we have like a bunch of files in our office. How are we going to do that? And I know that's a little bit overwhelming, and it's a big concern at the beginning. But what I tell them it's like, hey, let's go step by step. So if you're in Florida, if you're one of those condominiums that does have to specifically upload some specific files in order to be compliant and to avoid penalties, let's just start off with those documents, right? Let's just start off with those ones. You can just, scan them with your phone or with a printer, and then upload into your computer, and then you can do the other ones as it goes. But no, we don't have like a specific service where we can like convert those physical. It will only have to be by scanning them.
Okay, great. We also have Russell asked if we host electronic voting. Can we do that on the software?
The e-voting? Yes. So we do have a specific feature within the portal for e-voting, and it does comply 100% to the Florida House Bill, the 1021 update. So it would definitely help you guys to conduct those board elections in the most anonymous way, so nobody will have access to see who voted for who or anything like that. It will actually be 100% anonymous, and it will just be the system by the end of the voting letting you know, hey, this person got us this much votes, and then this other person or this other people got this amount of votes.
Also, I think Laura, now is maybe the time to get back to that question about the file size.
Oh yeah. So the storage space is unlimited. So if like that means like again, you can upload as many files or documents as you want. Now, if your question was specifically about, hey, how big can the file itself be for me to upload it to the system? It could be as big as 25 megabytes. So that's a lot of space. But if anything, you can always like, let's say if you have a really big document, you can like maybe divide it and then upload it, you know, on different parts, but because you will have unlimited storage at the end of the day. So it's more about how big the file itself is. But yeah, it's 25 megabytes, you guys.
Okay, so I'm checking here the Q&A and the chat, and it seems like we don't have any more questions. Peggy, do you want to go ahead and close us out?
Absolutely. So great information, Laura. I just can't thank you enough for doing these periodically because a lot of people are fearful of technology. And when you have an easy way to do it and you're not fearful of it, you're more likely to use it. And I know that, your attorneys out there for your board members will have a big say in helping you to make the right decisions. So go on the website at vinteumsoftware.com. Or is it Vinteum.com? Vinteum.io, right?
Vinteum.io. Yes, I'll send it in the chat, guys.
We'll be sending all the info on the chat, by the way, you guys, if you want me to contact you personally.
So let me close with mentioning some upcoming webinars. There's quite a few ahead of us, starting with next week on 4/14. I have been talking with Palm Beach County for quite some time now, actually since last June, trying to come up with some community service information for things like what to do with your stray cats. So that is the first one coming up on April 14th. It's Coffee with the County. Look for the flyer. It's going to go out today. It's 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Get your coffee out and let's talk to Officer Catania Black what to do with stray cats and maybe some other varmints that are running around your property. And then monthly, we're going to try to do this, or bi-monthly. We're trying to see how the first one goes, if we get a lot of participation. And we will discuss things like the fire department issues, what to do in an emergency. Do you have cardiac equipment in your lobby of your condominiums and things such as that? The police department wants to say a few words. So look for those Coffee with the County. That's what we're going to call them, and through the end of 2026. I also have on 4/17 another construction summit. Anybody under construction out there? We have an outstanding panel coming. It's from 10 to 12. It's a Friday morning, 10 a.m. to 12. We've got Ben Messerschmidt from Epic Forensic Engineering making a presentation. We also have a construction law attorney, Francesco Soto. They call him Frank Soto. He's very well known in South Florida. You might be able to pick up some good tips. And then we have from Colliers, a very outstanding professional, Greg Main Bailey. It's Main-Bailey. Anyway, the flyer's going to go out on that here shortly. Also on 4/21, if you're in the Palm Beach County area, there is a HOA and Condo Expo. If you want to walk around and meet some new vendors and go to some classes, go to the Palm Beach County Convention Center. 4/22, we have a rescheduled class from March 30th. We have the Association Reserves Company presenting from 12 to 1:30. Another reserves class. He's going to also cover the Sears reserves that you need if anybody's still working with their structural engineering issues and construction. That's going to be very informative. And then I'm going to close out the month of April with Best Roofing from 12 to 2. They're going to offer a CEU credit on hurricane preparedness and also hurricane panel. So June 1st is not that far away when you think about it. And with that said, I just want to announce that I am having an in-person event at the Palm Beach Hilton International. It's right off of I-95 in West Palm Beach. On May 19th, it's going to be an all-day expo, and we're going to have a board panel that's going to be monitored by the attorney Jane Boland. And then we're going to have a keynote speaker followed by another panel of professionals talking about insurance, public adjusting, restoration, with also an attorney. So we got an exciting few events coming ahead, and we look forward to all of you joining us. And also want to tell y'all to have a great week and weekend ahead. And we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. Before we fully finished, just saw your question, John. I'm so sorry. So I see you asked, is the management company required to provide their info if the association wants to change companies? Just making sure. So you want to know if you went from one company to another one, if that provider has to provide their info to the other one? No. They will just have to, try to figure it out a way to give your community info, if you've stored that on their portal or on their website, to you so that you can provide it to the new property management company. That's how it usually works. Again, like it could change, like the process could change depending on how those property management companies' processes work, but that is usually how it has worked, at least for us. We encourage the communities to get their information themselves, so they can give the necessary information for us to build and upload everything to their portals. That's what we usually do. I hope that answered your question.
I think he added a little bit more to the Q&A. See, he
From
said,
ours to yours. So yes, look, for example, so let's say you have X company working with you right now, and all of your financials documents are linked or are saved on their end. So what we would do is that we would ask you guys to get in touch with that property management company and ask them, hey, can you retrieve those documents for us? Can you send them on an email, or can you, put it on a drive so we can download it into our computer? Ventica. So yes, I think that's usually how it would go. We've had some similar, let's say, processes like that they go from this provider to ours. So what we tell the community is, hey, try to get in touch with them so they can retrieve all those documents and provide them to you. Sometimes they either do a link to a Google Drive folder, or they just provide it to you on an email, and then you can just send it to us. That's how it would usually go. Of course, my pleasure. Thank you.
okay, so thank you everybody for being here. And we'll see you on the next one. Like Peggy mentioned, there are a lot coming up.
Yes.
So we hope you guys stay tuned. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us today and get educated and learn how you can better your community, whether you're a resident or a CAM or a board member. We appreciate you guys taking the time to be with us and being so interactive. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye.